Russian President Vladimir Putin put out a warning to world leaders this past week, saying Russia has developed new nuclear weapons that can evade Western missile defenses. To dig a little deeper on the claims made by the Russian leader, let's go to chemical and nuclear weapons specialist Jean-Francois Legault. Jean-Francois, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's talk first about this nuclear engine powering nuclear weapons that we have heard about from Vladimir Putin. Have we seen anything like this before, and could it be a game changer?
As far as new technologies, I don't think so, because we do, current technology does use nuclear weapon to propel, vessels, submarines, and so on and so forth. I think the innovative way, if I can use it that way right now, it's perhaps to see it being used at a much more smaller scale into systems that could perhaps deliver, as you mentioned, nuclear capabilities. So a game changer, yes, but I think it's got to be taken into consideration is, has the technology really been proven, or it's just more of a new claim?
Let's talk about the possibility that from Russia, he says that they can reach any part of the world with one of their weapons. Is that possible?
Yes, I think the short answer is yes. When we look at perhaps ballistics or being able to reach out to the long distance, there's a few things that come into mind. First of all, having a source of fuel that can allow a missile to travel over a long trajectory, I think is key. So certainly I think from that particular point, Russia has advanced, it's got the capability. The number two aspect I would be looking at is speed. So having this new technology may allow the missile or the systems to use that travel at faster speeds, make it harder for detection system or countermeasure system to be able to counteract this particular missile. And number three would be the design of the missile itself. Is it using stealth design somehow, like similar to jets that we have right now, making it virtually impossible to detect? So I think all these things have to be considered in the equation.
Okay, so you mentioned that it could go fast enough that it would not be detected by defense systems. Does that include Western defense systems? And how fast would it have to go to do that?
Well, I think this is perhaps the most important question. And I think no country would perhaps openly disclose how it would defeat any countermeasures or any detection systems, because that would remove the tactical advantage. I think we can only go with perhaps what's in the open literature right now, such as the new technology, the speed. But apart from that, I think it would be pure speculation how one system would be able to defeat any countermeasures.
What about these underwater nuclear drones Putin's talking about? Is that new?
Again, from open literature, I think it's a fairly new system. I think a little bit of difference here is if we're referring to that torpedo, it would be able to deliver some kind of nuclear warhead detonation at the target, which would then inflict more damage.
Wow. Okay, so the U.S., as you know, has said, it's not really worried about what they've heard from the Russian leader. It sounds like they've heard it all before. Are they right to discount much of it?
Well, that's, I think, where one has to be very prudent as to discarding what Russia has made for claims. Because on one hand, we know Russia has always had, since World War II, a strong nuclear program. As to what it looks like now, I mean, it's perhaps some things that the Russians are keeping close hold. The U.S. certainly has some very strong capabilities, but I think it's a bit too early and too perhaps precarious to be able to comment whether the U.S. can deal with those capabilities.
Jean-Francois, we've heard a lot about nuclear weapons of late. North Korea, Russia saying it's amping up, Donald Trump wanting a bigger military and more powers. Are you concerned at all about heading into this sort of nuclear arms race we'd been in before?
Yes, because the first question when I heard about the news about the new Russian program, the first question came to mind is why? What's happening right now that makes Russia wants to perhaps flex its nuclear missiles? But looking at some of the excerpts from Putin's speech, he mentions that if anybody attacks them from a nuclear point of view or its allies, he would retaliate accordingly. And we know that Russia has close ties with, for example, with China. India, Syria, Ukraine. So I think, yeah, when we put all this in the equation, I'm getting a little bit worried as to where this could lead to.
Yeah, the language is reminiscent of that time. Jean-Francois Lagosser, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you sharing some time with us today.
Thank you very much, Marilla. You're welcome.